Okay, we are live on TikTok. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and now LinkedIn. So, welcome everybody to the Hypnosis Hero podcast. The Hypnosis Hero podcast is one of the only podcasts that is recorded live. I would like to say in front of a studio audience, but you are the studio audience out there. So, if you're live and you're with us, that's good. You know, we kind of like to have people talk back to us every so often. But it's also one of the only podcasts that actually incorporates hypnosis at the end of the podcast, at the end of the interview, so that people can actually experience what hypnosis actually is, as opposed to, what the media might portray it as or what they've heard. So that is what we do. And being on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, we've worked to expand our reach and our offerings. And we're hoping that we get to continue expanding in the next little while. But before we expand and go anywhere, I should bring on my co-host with the most, Brian Bay.
Oh, greetings. Good evening.
So, World Series is just south of you there. They played the equivalent of 2 games last night, so
yeah, I was last week years old when I became a Toronto Blue Jays fan. and I say that growing up in Southern California with a severe disdain for the Dodgers. I grew up as a young kid as a San Diego Padres fan. So I remember many games at the used to be Jack Murphy Stadium, then it went to Qualcomm, and then they crumbled the stadium and built a Petco Park downtown. But yeah, so actually, real quick, Shawn, I'm looking at my screen. If you can give me powers.
and
we are confirmed that I'm watching us both on the external screens with YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, and I know TikTok is going because people are rolling in and out of the feed, and that's good.
Oh, fantastic!
And I think LinkedIn doesn't actually have a direct feed. So if you want to leave comments or you want to interact with us and you are on LinkedIn watching us, feel free to either message me directly, because I will get those messages, in the background here, or hop on one of the other platforms and you can jump in and interact with our guest and with us, because we're cool dudes, whether you think so or not.
At least that's what we tell ourselves.
Well, I was with middle year students, so that's like grade 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this morning, and I was pumping out all kinds of information about being a good digital citizen and, how AI is going to start affecting their lives and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
So I apologize in advance, because teachers have a tendency to become what they teach. And I used to teach middle years all the time. So if my sense of humor starts going a little bit awry.
See also dad jokes.
See, exactly. Dad jokes, teacher jokes, or worse yet, teacher dad jokes. Mm-hmm. They may start, they may work their way into the interview, into the podcast today. So, there's a lot of people who are Toronto Blue Jays fans now. Mm-hmm. Every so often, there comes a point in time where they start looking at the Montreal Expos and why the Expos moved out of Montreal, because the Expos, I think, were getting close to actually fielding a World Series winning team. So,
where did Montreal go? Forgive me, I haven't followed baseball terribly closely.
Yeah, no, I don't actually recall right off the top of my head, but somebody with AI could probably figure that out and let us know in the chat, for sure. And speaking of people who know a lot about AI and use it regularly, welcome, Jen. Glad to see you over there. Hope everything is going well, because I got to tell you, miss seeing you live. So the really cool thing, I think, about all of it is, yeah, it can bring a country together, but our two countries seem to come together for the weirdest reasons, and then we seem to poke fun at each other for the absolute weirdest reasons as well. So
I think in general, Americans and Canadians get along really, really well. From the majority of my interactions with Canadian people has been just amazingly positive. They're some of the most wonderful people in the world. They're very hospitable, and it seems like once politics and political leaders want to go and play, jockey for position and who's got the upper hand and leverage and this, that, and the other, that's what kind of spoils it. And I'd like to see, my hope is that, anywhere in the world where you've got, I think it's safe to say that we all would like our own respective countries to be prosperous and people to, be able to have their freedoms and do good things and generally be contributing members of society. But, there's there are bad actors out there. And I remember seeing a video with a former Navy SEAL and a Delta Force operator talking about, hey, this guy that I kicked open his door and, raided his home, what if we met in a cafe somewhere in Paris? Would we share stories and have things in common, but we're enemy combatants and that's the way it is. So I think kind of having that, not necessarily the open mind, but just that general curiosity of what's somebody else's story and where do we find that common ground. But I know we've had a guest in waiting, Shawn, and I can say with definitive certainty that I have been looking forward to this, to having him on this since I met him and saw his presentation and giving his talk in Vegas about his skills and technical abilities. I think everybody's going to be really, really just blown away at this.
I would agree. And yes, every time we've discussed who's next up on our list of guests, Brian, very first person that he would go to is our guest tonight. So after this, I don't know what he's going to do. It'll be like a vacuum. Who are we going to have? I don't know. I got my guy already.
No, and you're kind of painting me into a corner, Shawn.
It's all good.
It's what I really enjoy because there are some of the guests that they pique my interest. I get super drawn in. Sometimes I get Bob Martin and whatnot, but
you got bobbed. And actually, for my class next week, when I'm teaching my class next week, we are going to be talking about conversational hypnosis. Guess which clips I'm going to use?
just don't use the ones where I curse. All right,
it's all good.
So
they're adults. It's okay.
So Becca's joining us. I guess there was a time change in England, so they're only 7 hours behind.
Oh,
so
you guys actually change your clocks next week, right?
The second,
yeah, Sunday. So not so much here. It just because you guys change, it shifts the time for me. So instead of starting at 6:30, in my time, actually Jen and I will actually be on the same time zone. So I'll be back in Central Standard Time next week. So, but all of that, we know that our guest actually comes from overseas, and we are actually very fortunate to get him while he is over here in on this side of the pond.
He's in North America.
He's on this side of the pond. So our guest here tonight is a man. I'm going to pull this over because I need to read this here. There we go. Make it bigger so Shawn can see even without his glasses. Our guest here tonight is a man whose journey from sound engineer to internationally recognized hypnotherapist is as fascinating as it is inspiring. Born in Amsterdam, Jeff's early love for music led him to DJing at parties and mixing for live bands around the world. But it was a chance encounter with Pharaoh, a popular German hypnotist. And if you haven't ever seen any of Pharaoh's work, I believe there is some of it still out there on the internet. but while working backstage in Germany, that sparked a deeper curiosity in Jeff. Witnessing hypnosis not only captivate audience, but also help relieve performers' pain, planted a seed that would later grow into a new calling. After a theater accident redirected his path, Jeff dove into a 4-year hypnosis training program and never looked back. And I'm going to hope that I get this right. Today, he runs Hypnosis Experience, where he's helped thousands transform their lives. His expertise spans hypnosis, behavioral science, child development, and forensic psychology. In recent years, Jeff's groundbreaking research on the impact of COVID-19 lockdowns on youth and his innovative school program, Voices in Your Mind, have earned him widespread acclaim. And he has even garnered the title of Hypnotist of the Year in 2024. Whether it's on stage, in the clinic, or at global conferences, Jeff Benink is dedicated to helping people unlock the power of their mind. Welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast, Mr. Jeff Benink.
Thank you for having me.
We finally made it happen.
It took quite some time.
So, Jeff, Americans and Canadians may not be able to roll our R's and do the accent and everything. So, proper pronunciation of your business.
Dat is Hypnose Praktijk Zwolle. It's hypnosis practice in the city of Zwolle in the Netherlands.
Okay, that's awesome.
I was close.
You did very well.
I would have had to type that into Google and been like, okay, he's owner of, and then click, have the speakers say it, and then in the Google speak and spell. But
no, they mispronounced it because that's where I got my pronunciation from.
Okay, we tried. A valiant effort. So yeah, A for effort, probably a solid C for execution.
Yeah.
You did very well.
I'm looking at different comments here, but we'll go with Becca's first. She's swearing. So first of all, Becca, don't swear. That's really not good. But she swears there are so many great DJs from Amsterdam. What type of music did you mix?
A lot of kinds of music, but I made my effort in the dance music for a while.
So that and she was asking, okay, yeah. So the type of genre that she was asking about is, you're talking about the dance music more of, is it kind of like your top 40 or the
house music?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Jen's agreeing here on TikTok. She says that's absolutely awesome. She loves dance music. So
kind of take us through sound engineer. So is that different from DJing, or is that making sure that you're making the fine adjustments while people are performing or producing, soundtracks for CDs or MP3s or whatever?
Yeah, sound engineering is a big field. I operated as a sound engineer for bands, so making all the channels, the drums, the guitars, the vocals sound good together. It's a lot of choices making from what do we need and what don't we need and what is hurting each other.
So for the people watching, when you talk about the different channels, you're talking about like the different microphone or instrument inputs.
Yeah.
So like it would be my microphone, a kick drum, a guitar, somebody else's vocals, all those get layered into the final product.
Yeah, that is what you hear in a song, and that's what they do in a recording studio. I was a recording studio owner, but I like the live part more, coming in to an empty venue. 6 hours later, the audience walks in and there's a big concert, and 6 hours later it's empty.
Yeah. No, that's got to be just kind of like a blank canvas every time you go to work. You walk in, it's a new venue, it's a new something else, pros and cons of each.
And it got to look and feel the same like the night before, because the artist wants it a certain way, and the people are paying money for tickets to get the same experience.
And then how does the venue, or each venue, play into the differences and the intricacies and the adjustments that you have to make? Is that
Every venue is acoustically different, more reverberation, more hollow. That it is different, and the fun part is you can't tune everything when there's no audience, because we as human bodies absorb a lot of sound and frequencies that are missing at the start of a concert.
Oh yeah, with clothing and just the pure mass of ourselves.
Yeah, and a rising temperature, everything works together. So it's there's a nice scientific side to it.
Oh, so temperature can play a role.
Yeah, some frequencies don't travel as far when temperatures rise.
Oh my, wow, that is. I could run down an entire rabbit hole with you, just picking your brain, going, all right, tell me more, and then what happens, But so yeah,
I think we got to sit down sometime and have a glass of beer and talk about it.
Oh God, one glass is going to turn in, or one pint is going to turn into many, I'm sure. But that's yeah. So as a chance encounter, you got to see the German performer. Is that now? Kind of take me through what are the differences in performing in the United States versus Germany, Amsterdam, any of the other places, as far as like legalities, permitting, those types of things?
Performing is almost the same everywhere, but the problem is the problem here in the US. When they do a show, they have a row of chairs, they hypnotize people, let them do funny stuff, and show is over. If you see shows in Europe, they are really shows. I do chair shows once in a while for high schools and for corporate, but when I do my own show, it's not so much a chair show, but it's a theater show. I have people sitting on the side or on the back of the stage, and we play out scenes where people are the actors instead of, hey, we're gonna dance together.
So you put the volunteers in hypnotic trance, give them their suggestions, and then it's kind of like a production.
Yes, it's a full production. I use sound, light, and video in my shows. And
so you're setting it up, trying to go, here's a general theme of what I want to be played out, but then you're also like, I have no idea what the volunteers are going to say. It's sort of a entertainment for you as well.
That is tricky, but that's the nice thing about doing a hypnosis show. You never know what a volunteer may do or say. You can give him a frame where he can move in between. But if somebody is loud-mouthed or bad-mouthed, yeah, that's tricky. Or somebody really shy, and we can motivate them during with hypnosis, doing off-mic cues. But it's all very tricky, and that makes it so much fun. I know what the framework is, where my show is in, but it's not always the same.
Now, are there different rules and regulations that, like, I remember speaking with Grant about what he has to do in England, where he's like, we got to get permissions and permits and all of that stuff. Whereas the United States, it's like, hey, we want to go do a show, get me a stage and whatnot. Are there any specific requirements that you guys have to do in Amsterdam or Germany? Because
No, we're kind of free, but to be insured, we have to, every skit we do, we have to write down what is it, what we do, why do we do it, what can be a pitfall of the skit, can somebody get hurt, can there be damage on the building or on the stage, how can we prevent it? Why do we decide to do it this way and not another way?
Mhm.
And we got to do it from every part we do in the show. So you got to bring in a book like this about what can happen in your show, and if you thought about the danger that it could be.
So you kind of have to do a full risk assessment plus,
Yeah, it's a full risk
a show
assessment.
outline.
Yeah.
Okay.
For every part you do.
And that's in Amsterdam?
That's in the Netherlands. That's in Germany.
Or I'm sorry. Yeah, Netherlands. I keep thinking Amsterdam's the primary city out there, correct?
Yeah, it's the capital city.
Okay. Sorry, I keep transposing those. I mean to say Netherlands, but I keep saying Amsterdam. And then
no problem.
What
I know where Amsterdam is.
Yeah. What other places have you performed in throughout Europe, and what kind of obstacles have you had to overcome out there?
I worked in Spain and Italy. It's mostly with language, and in Italy, while you're programming your show, I do a lot of with lighting. So when somebody is standing at a certain point, it's the only one in the light. So that's what I like. I have a theater background. And in Italy, the owner of the venue just took the jumper off the building, put it in his bag, and drove away on his bike. Why I didn't save my show yet, because it was time for lunch.
So you were in the middle of setup, and he just went, "Oh, I'm going to take stuff and boogie."
Yeah, I shut off the electrical system, and I go home and have lunch. So everything that I was programming lost until he got back 2 hours later. And not speaking the language, I didn't know what he meant, that he was going and leaving. So those are.
So by the time he comes back, you're probably just absolutely livid.
Yeah. To be honest, I had 2 hours to do 4 hours of work. And that is not a good way to set up a show that needs to run a couple of nights.
Oh man, that is because I know how passionate you are about the quality of a show product that you put out, and I recognize just in the conversations that we've had, the meticulous planning and the effort that the craftsmanship that, if you will, that you put into your productions.
Yeah, I was not the happiest guy there, to say the least. But show must run, so we got it fixed. And I said I luckily had some colleagues there that could help out.
Yeah. And I imagine after you're like, okay, I kind of remember what the settings were for this, you can kind of get back quickly, but you still have to go and manually put all that in.
Yeah. And nowadays it's more easy. Things are more automated. The lightning fixtures are easier to work with. So, but in the early days, that was not funny.
So tell us about this chance encounter, and really take us through that, where you discovered the hypnosis and just kind of tripped in.
It started out with me being a sound engineer. I was traveling with bands in spring, summer, fall, but in the winters there are no festivals. Most artists went into studios, record new things, or did a couple of TV gigs. There was not much work, and you gotta keep earning money. So I did sales fairs in Germany, and a sales fair is just like a county fair, except from cows they have people selling stuff, and every half hour there's an artist. So a singer, a band, and we got a hypnotist, Fado. And I was doing a show, and week after week after week, it's the same show. So yeah, if people do crazy things, that becomes normal if you see the show over and over again. But
But
I
you got to see the slight differences based on the volunteers, so you're able to
yeah,
go, oh, you're convinced going, okay, there's something to this. It's not like we've got a bunch of paid actors that are stooges
yeah,
in the crowd.
there were other people on there every couple of hours. So
Mhm.
and my sound desk was elevated, so I could look over the people, and I could look into the dressing room on the side.
Oh wow.
And we had dancers that one of the dancers had severe migraines. He was being sick all the time. He couldn't do a show, and he was a star performer.
Mhm.
And Faro took him aside and did hypnosis on him, and not even 40 minutes later, he was dancing a show.
Oh wow.
And I couldn't believe it. Oh, what happened? So I started buying some books about hypnosis, but never did something with it.
Uh-huh.
I just read through them. Yeah, it's not for me. It's not rock and roll. And years later, I had an accident where I severely damaged my leg in a theater, and
Mhm.
I couldn't do my work anymore because I couldn't walk. And I opened the newspaper, and there was an ad for a school of hypnosis
Mhm.
in the Netherlands, and I thought, wow, they had an open door day, so let's see what it is. And
Right.
I never left,
Oh
and I
wow.
keep traveling the world, learning about hypnosis, talking about hypnosis, and teaching hypnosis ever since.
And then with your injury to your leg, did you eventually make a, if not a full recovery, close to that?
It's workable. It will
Right.
never be the same as it was, but
I mean,
nuts and bolts.
thankfully you're able to walk.
Yeah, yeah, I can do everything that I could, but I'm getting around good.
Mhm.
So, and sometimes I say it's the best that ever happened to me. It brought me
Yeah.
to the hypnosis field, and I'm doing what I like. I help people overcome certain things. I work with kids, and I can do the shows that I want to do.
So you handle both the therapeutic side and the entertainment side.
Yeah, I do both.
Okay. And then with working with kids, that has to be pretty, uh, not so much entertaining, but really rewarding.
It is rewarding, and it's for me. It's always an hour to be a kid myself. I never stopped being a kid, and I never will probably.
Mhm.
But kids are easy to work with if you lower yourself in being a kid. If you try to be the adult from, oh, you got to listen, and now we're gonna no. Kids need to have fun,
Mhm.
and a lot of trauma we can take away while doing fun stuff with them. And of course, we got to be serious sometimes, but it's about them. It's not about you showing your skill. And that's what I see with a lot of hypnotists. They want to be the mentor, the teacher, but kids, everything is based on trust.
And then generally, what's the most common, I guess, age range that of kids that you get to work with? And then on the kind of at the same token, what's the most common uh, challenge that they come to, that the parents bring them to you for?
The things parents bring them for is so diverse. There's not one thing. Uh,
Okay, I didn't know if there was a, hey, I kind of see
there's
a
not one
trend,
thing.
or
Yeah, sometimes it's bedwetting. Sometimes it's fear, anger, uh, even aggression. Um, there are many things, but I work with kids from 2 years old all up. So non-communicative kids that I see in my practice already.
Mhm. Oh, that's awesome. And then that sounds like it's pretty important to you just to be able to give back.
That is important for me. I love working with kids, and I work a lot with sexual abuse victims, and sometimes those are kids too,
Mhm.
sadly. But it is rewarding if you can change the life of somebody in just seeing a couple of hours.
Oh yeah, I mean, and then are you able to watch? like just something click, or like that aha moment where it's, I would almost akin to it as like they're able to let go or overcome, or they escape the, like what's been holding them back, or holding them down.
You can with kids you can see the difference in their face, in their mannerism.
Mhm.
If things click, if they are freed from a burden that's pressing on their shoulders, you see them literally get taller. But every kid is different.
Right.
And I follow up with kids. I always follow up after 3 months, 6 months, and a year,
Mhm.
just to reassure the parents that they're not alone. In a lot of times, there's difficulty at school, uh, in sports, and everything. I think it's important to be in touch with a family for a longer time. It's
Mhm.
not like I call them every week. I have
Right.
3 months, 6 months, and then after a year, and after a year, everything is going well. My work is done.
Yeah.
And if they ever need to come back, they got my phone number.
God, imagine. I mean, you've got to feel just like almost invincible, or superhuman, like to be able to go. I I give these parents this gift of their child not hurting or struggling anymore, and it's not a whole bunch of prescription medications and all this stuff. It's just parents don't care what it takes. They just want their kid to be better.
That is the fight that I'm having a lot of times with doctors that want to have kids on meds for things that are just part of growing up.
Yeah.
We all have our fears, and if mommy and daddy were in a fight, and you've seen it, and that is everything you saw in the first few years, even when they're best friends now,
Hmm.
that fear is stuck with you.
Yeah.
And as
And
a therapist, we can do something about it. We can help them. Everything somebody comes in for has a reason. Even
right.
bedwetting has a reason.
Hmm.
But a lot of times we forget that we get the impressions after the 6 week that mom is pregnant. We are already having emotional impressions as a child.
Hmm.
So if mom was in a
You're
fight
you're
then, or
you're
something happened with
speaking you're speaking of unborn child.
unborn child in the
Okay.
six
Okay.
week of the pregnancy, there's already detection about what mom is going through.
Hmm.
And with the study I just spoke about in Canada and in Detroit, it is visible in the gene expression on kids that some genes are turned on and some are turned off due to what happened before. So it's a biological thing too.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I mean, it's like, because you kind of wonder, like, in a sense, that how do people just kind of skate through life and happen to be just lucky and good and all of that, and then you have other people that are like, they just won't get out of their way. They will throw monkey wrenches in their own works and everything, and to to hear about that, a lot of this stuff could have been altered, or impressions during a pregnancy. That's crazy to me.
It is
It's
even.
wild to think about that.
Let me make it more crazy.
Hmm.
The study, Professor Pierre Capel, a professor I worked with and studied with, um, I'm presenting his research right now.
Hmm.
Uh, Everything that happens to you turns off and turns on gene expressions on your DNA. And genes you can turn on and turn off, turn on and turn off.
Hmm.
People that were in the Second World War went to a concentration camp.
Hmm.
Their next of kin, for 5 generations, it is visible. So in some countries, 5 generations are getting an allowance from the government because what they went through, because it's still visible in their DNA structure.
This is in Europe.
It's worldwide. It is biology, but
Oh, wow.
the allowance is in Europe. But that's
Okay.
what research just told us.
Okay.
I see a question from Scott King. A lot of times I start with the parents.
Yeah. So the question that Scott was asking for the people on the other platforms is, how often do you find that the parents need the work more than the child? And I can definitely appreciate that, especially when there's like divorce or any type of child custody, where the parents are trying to manipulate the child back and forth and go, well, can we get a therapist to say that, make X diagnosis or whatnot? Do you see that a fair amount in your work?
Not so much, but I work with both parents separately before I work with the kid. And sometimes I see the parents longer than the kid itself.
Oh, wow. And then, so I don't want to say which came first, the chicken or the egg. Was it the interest in the therapeutic side or the entertainment side that really kind of drove your hypnosis journey?
I think it started out with the entertainment, but there was nothing to do in the Netherlands with entertainment. There was no way of finding education. And having to look for another way of earning money when I lost my job after the accident. The therapeutic part was the only thing I could do. And seeing how quick it worked and the reactions of the people, I went full in.
Wow.
But I couldn't leave the entertainment part out of it in the end.
Right. And then, so
that is...
How much would you say your practice or your with the hypnosis, how much is the therapeutic side and kind of what percentage is more on the entertainment?
It's 60, 40, 70, 30, depending on the time of year.
Okay.
Mostly is therapy and research.
And
got it.
Speaking of research,
I live in a country that is so small.
Speaking of research, Jeff, you mentioned that you had authored a paper on COVID-19 and then created basically a course, a system for students. I know what it's like to generate courses and do those research pieces and all of that. That is not a small piece of work.
No, it's not something you do in an afternoon.
Yeah, you don't just I'm just gonna do this here and win an award or do different things and get out there and cobble it together, so to speak. After we came out of COVID, what was it like for you in the Netherlands? Because I know here it was a very slow startup again. There weren't too many people who were really wanting to jump out and go into shows. There were still a lot of people who didn't even necessarily want to be around other people. What was it like, over in the Netherlands, and how did that recovery kind of shape where you went with your business?
The strange thing that happened to me with COVID, that I was visiting my parents. I was living in the US when COVID hit for a while, and I went back to see my parents, and then the air bridge between Europe and the US closed, so I couldn't come back. So and I burnt my bridges in the Netherlands because I was thinking, hey, I'm going to stay in the US. So I went back.
Burned your bridges, like you weren't able to meet like entertainment availabilities or commitments, or
I finished my company in the Netherlands when I went to the US for thinking to stay in the US. closed my company down, didn't book any shows anymore, just fully concentrated on the US. And yeah, then I couldn't come back to the US anymore because the air bridge was closed.
Right.
And I had to start over in the Netherlands. And luckily, with good friends, they offered me a space that I could use as an office in the building my office was in.
It's not like there was a big falling out or anything. It was, hey, life happens and circumstances that are outside your control.
Yeah, but then the Netherlands shut down, and we were shut down for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
No clients. We had lockdowns,
Mm-hmm.
evening lockdowns, full day lockdowns, and that was from being able to do everything you want, everything you need to do. As a business owner, it was from one day to the other, there was nothing anymore. And everybody was in the same boat.
That has to be really scary going, our government is telling us we can't go outside. We can't go to the store. We have to stay in our homes. And we don't know when it's going to end.
That was really scary. And that was extra hard for me because I didn't have a place of my own. So I was staying with my parents for a while. But that's fun for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But then you need a place for yourself. So luckily I found a house that I could move into, thinking that everything would start up. But it didn't.
Right. No, that's...
luckily, by utilizing the internet and Grant Day, his online podcast about entertainers being on the road, telling their stories, that kept us all, I think, a little bit insane about doing shows. Hey, it was fun. We did a lot of things. Talking to other peers like Michael de Schellert at the time and other hypnotists, even telling stories from the past that kept you hooked into the business because everything was sliding away.
Yeah. And Tommy Girlando's commenting from earlier saying that, it's amazing. And he's often wondered if that sort of thing has to do with our own intuition or instincts. And I think he's referring, I saw this comment pop up when you were talking about the DNA and the impressioning or the genes and the impressioning. And then another one, he says the number of clients that he has helped with agoraphobia since COVID is crazy. And the whole situation did a lot of damage, meaning the COVID lockdowns. And Tommy, refresh my memory. The agoraphobia is the fear of going outside or like being away from home or like in open spaces.
Going outside. Yeah.
Okay. And
well, I see that too. And especially in young kids, I always talk about being at a birthday party with 13-year-olds. They are now 18-year-olds. They got a little. But going to a birthday party, they were all sitting down with a mobile phone. At that age, I was trying to steal a kiss from a girl at a birthday party with my friends. And the whole social interaction changed. And if you see the development now, that's what I write over in The Lost Gen Z, is it is still that the interactions between teens on relationship level and sexual level is very low instead of before COVID. And let's be honest, they are the ones that need to earn the money so we can enjoy our pension in the future. And if there are too little of them,
Nothing
gotta
selfish about that at all. and you're not wrong. I mean, I see it on the education side, working in the school system. The kids that are now in, I guess they would be what? They would have missed out kindergarten, grade 1, and grade 2. For sure. And those 3 grades really are form the basis of everything that we need them to be able to do in education from grade 3 onward. And those kids, a lot of them are doing much better now, but there are still a significant number that are struggling, because they didn't get that interaction. They didn't get that, that sense of this is really cool. And
the social aspect of it as a whole.
Well, yeah, I mean, the social piece for sure, but that sense of a lot of teachers, especially the early years teachers, really help students develop that sense of, wow, this is really cool. What more do I need to know about it?
I mean, and it's so important because I remember in elementary school, I went through 5th grade, and then I get to go to middle school. So 6th, 7th, and 8th, I went to an entirely new school where it was, you're not going to be in one classroom and have a single teacher. You're going to have 5 or 6, and you're going to get up partway through the day, and every hour or so, you're going to get up, wander the halls, and go to another classroom. And the thought that I'm not going to be able to go outside and run around on the playground twice a day at recess and after lunch was just absolutely mind-blowing for me. Going, as far as I was concerned, my life was over. I was going to be an adult. There's no more playtime. How am I going to exist without being able to go swing on the swing sets?
And adulting and peopling is hard, Brian.
Well, I mean, but I mean, it kind of goes back to what if COVID happened and it transitioned from my 5th grade year into, all right, 2 years of middle school, we have to do this online stuff, and then we get to go back to school, and I'm preparing to graduate middle school and go jump right into high school. Yeah. I would be going, oh my God, I went from running around on the playground, girls have cooties, to here's the, just that short amount of time, how the social dynamics and, just evolving as a teenager and growing up was just insane.
Yeah, what you see now is that some schools kept certain parts of the education online afterwards, and a lot of parents kept kids in homeschooling because it was easier, or they could spend more time away from home doing online schooling. And research shows now that there's a lot of social anxiety or social awkwardness because they have younger siblings only around them instead of people from their own age that they can learn from. We're still animals. What we see is what we do. That's how we learn.
That's like a friend of mine. She had a rescue border collie, and she said he was abused and like hated garbage cans and tall men. And she goes, it wasn't until I moved in with my brother that and his dog that mine kind of learned how to dog, run around, chase toys, that type of thing. And kids are kind of the same way. They need to learn. Yeah, because the kids will correct each other.
Still, our primary learning is visual. So I think there's a lot of damage done, and that we that in the future we as hypnotherapists have something to do with them.
Yeah, it's Scott says, and that, folks, is where Brian started going off the rails, and Scott does not cease to disappoint.
Well, Scott keeps in track.
I'll scroll back here just a bit. Becca was asking clarification if you're still living in the Netherlands or if you live in the U.S. now.
No, I still live in the Netherlands.
You just happen to be traveling and visiting the U.S. for several conferences and stuff that were over here.
Yeah.
And some vacation.
And some vacation time in between. Yeah.
Hmm. You see, Becca, that's what happens when you have a business and you can justify writing off your travel and you get some continuing education, some networking, and then you actually get to have your work pay for you to see the world. So
that is the nice part about speaking everywhere.
Now, what's your favorite place that you've ever had the opportunity to play as far as performing?
Performing in Vegas was insane, but it's not the nicest location to perform, but it was nice to do, to put it on the list.
Mm-hmm. And anyone that was like the most memorable, or where it was like, hey, I got here and it's like, okay, I have arrived, I now consider myself a professional, or just anything where it was significant, where you're like, this was amazing.
The fun thing for me was performing on a cruise ship that I booked myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was going on a cruise ship with my girlfriend when the magician had food poisoning that was going to perform. And my girlfriend was, hey, he can do a show tonight.
Oh, so you guys just were on a cruise, like, hey, we're going to get away. And then all of a sudden, ruh-roh, we need an entertainer. And you're like...
Yeah. And we had a free cruise after that. So that was nice.
They're like, we have refunded all your money, drinks are on the house, and we've upgraded your room.
So that was a nice experience.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So Mark Barrow says, sorry I'm late. I've been busy watching Oz Perlman videos. Yeah, those have popped up in my YouTube feed as well. And so I have been searching far and wide on the internet, and either your stuff is not showing up in US search engines or whatnot, but I have been wanting to see video clips of some of your performances. Is there anything out there on the internet or YouTube or anything like that?
There are small pieces out on YouTube somewhere, but I took a lot of it down because, there are some entertainers that think that they. I use a lot of composed music in my shows that I pay big money for to let it compose, and I do a skit. I told at certain conferences some things about a big theater show, what skits I do. But sadly, there are some entertainers that don't know exactly how things should be done and try to copy in a really bad way where people can get hurt because they don't know what they're doing. That made me decide to took a lot of it down.
God, and that's... excuse me. That is such a shame that, because I look at a lot of hypnosis videos and shows and I try to go, okay, what things do I like? What things do I don't like? How could I put my own twist or spin or something like that? It's more of just ideas, but then also, my interest would be just seeing you work, and definitely getting out to the Netherlands or somewhere that you're performing is definitely on my I would like to do list, because I would absolutely love to see one of your productions.
Whenever you come over early. You go on the whole tour with me, from setting up the programming, doing the show, and then I can explain why I do certain things and why it looks like I'm working with somebody severe, but everything is a voice cue that I'm giving, but it looks like I'm pulling on arms and everything.
Mm-hmm.
but it's just guiding somebody to create a certain stance that I need in the next scene. But some people see it and they start pulling on limbs and doing things that you shouldn't.
So it would be like you may be very loosely holding somebody's wrist, and you're going and you're going to stretch your arm up over your head, and you're like, they're the ones who are lifting it up. You're just kind of sitting there going like, okay, that'll do right there, stop. Whereas someone who's copying you is going to yank their arm up. Am I following?
Exactly. I do a Cinderella story in my show where in the scene before I saw the silhouette of a girl,
Right.
and that's the last part of the scene.
Okay.
And then something else happens, and then we have a callback to that scene that I'm standing with a piece of music, leaning to a light post in the street, and I remember her face, I remember who she is, and I have 3 girls on stage that I slowly, with catalepsy, set in the position. Not the bridge, but I set them in a certain stance.
They're frozen in place like this.
Yeah, that's exactly like the 2 scenes before. So
you're just essentially picking up where you left off.
Yeah,
but in a callback.
It's very important to get somebody exactly in the stance so the audience gets it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of off-mic cueing.
Right.
And if the arm is like this and it needs to be like this, I will push it in place by talking to her and guiding it. That's just one of the things. So she has the exact same stance. But when people are copying it, they are hurting people.
So
because they don't know how it's done.
Do you prefer a handheld microphone or like the little boom mics or a lapel mic?
I use a headset and a handheld mic, and I switch in between them. Depends on what I'm doing.
Okay, so you can just reach down to your belt or wherever the control is, and you can switch off your.
Yeah, I got a mute button.
Your headset.
Side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you want to give your off mic cues off mic.
Yeah, and sometimes I do them on mic if I forget to mute it. It is part of the experience too.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do the fairy tale show, it's a fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
I want people involved, just like watching a movie. But if I do it for a couple of hypnotists, I will always do a couple of on-mic cues so they see what is happening. And that is what I do when I coach hypnotists in building shows too, as a consultant. It is so important to make it a show and not do the same thing like everybody else. So
Becca's got a question. Are you aware of a hypnotist which goes by the name of Ninja? I'm not sure if that's a typo or not. She says he has a fairly big YouTube following. He's from the Netherlands as well, living in Amsterdam. And she said that the two of them used to talk years ago, but she hasn't talked to him recently.
I don't know him, but it could be somebody else that takes on a stage names that I don't know.
Yeah. So, Becca, what was it? NIMJA or is it ninja like your martial arts ninja? And we'll let her throw that in the comments there. But no, so how did you come up with the idea that instead of just a traditional, hey, there's chairs on a stage and lighting and all cool stuff, that you actually wanted to tell a story? And
I got bored with seeing other hypnotists. I got a lot of friends in the hypnosis world. Everybody is doing shows. Everybody has his key moments. But if you look at almost every show, they are all the same concept. It is a row of chairs. we do a hot call, we do a dancing bit, and I got bored with seeing it. And if people are going to a theater, if they gotta spend money, yeah, mom and dad gotta hire a babysitter. That's $50 a night. They gotta go to a theater and eat. If they eat, it's 100. That's $100. Then they gotta have tickets for the theater. That's $100. So that 250 in before they are at my show.
Oh yeah.
Am I the one that comes in, set up a row of chairs? Some do it under the indecent lights from the building and get paid. That's not a show. That's a demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
And working in theater and on stages for almost all my life, I think if we up our game just a little, we can get better prizes as an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
But we entertain.
Yeah.
And that is where my heart is in. And I like writing shows. I like building out shows.
Mm-hmm.
And the response is you get into venues where you normally won't do your show.
One of
Because the
the
production is a little bit more expensive.
Did I hear you correctly that if you up your game, you get into venues that you normally otherwise would not get into, or if you just keep doing the same chairs on stage, you just kind of get pigeonholed and shoehorned into anywhere someone can fit you?
A lot of times when you do what I call a chair show, you get into a bar, you get to a comic club if you're really good. But if you do a bigger production, you can put it in a bar. But you will be picked up by a local theater.
Mm-hmm.
So you got nice chairs, you got nice venue, you got light, sound, everything is there. If you up your game and make your show, and you've been to my talk at PHS, that you can build your show to run on everything. I can do my show without sound, with sound. I never go without a sound system, but without lights, without videos. But in the biggest places, I can incorporate everything, even pyrotechnics if I want to. And it's all the same show, but it's programmed in a way that I can use the same files everywhere. And depending on the venue, I can change the music to be appropriate with the press of a button.
So I'm glad that you brought up PHS, the Performing Hypnosis Summit. So on Hypno News and everything, I'm going to take a slight tangent. We'll go down a side road here real fast.
You go down the side road, and then we have a question from TikTok. Go ahead.
Yes, is when I've encouraged people and talked about the experience, I use you as an example quite often, as you provide a service as far as like the sound engineering and programming and stuff like that. But as part of your presentation, you were like, this is why I do what I do. Here's the results that I get, capabilities and stuff that are out there. You never pushed anything like you need my product or your shows or service or your show is going to suck. You said, I will answer questions, contact me. Here's how to get a hold of me. If we work together, we'll make something work. But there was zero pressure or anything. You were like, I will offer something because you should be compensated for your time and your efforts. But it was like you're trying to add value to people by going, don't be intimidated by me as a sound engineer that you don't think I won't talk to you. And that's kind of that whole building the community and lifting everybody up that I talk about, coming to that conference.
If I see it this way, Brian, if everybody ups his game in our little piece of entertainment world, we all are working way more because let's be honest, most hypnotists are struggling to get shows.
Mm-hmm.
or for a reasonable price. There are booking sites where if you put in a bid for $300 for a show, somebody will underbid you for 150,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to fly to the venue. That's not possible.
Yeah.
If we all start working, and I need to make money too. I'm a show consultant for bigger shows. I work with
Mm-hmm.
magicians, illusionists, hypnotists, even bigger theater productions. There I have my knowledge. And if somebody
Mm-hmm.
wants to work with me, I will work with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't work with everybody. But everybody can give me a call and I can look at the show and say, hey, if you change this, it will be better. If the technical side needs to be different, I can help you with it. And we can see if I can save you money in doing it.
And one thing that I noticed that it just the general feeling that I got is that you're also the type of person when you go, look, you're in this venue, like you don't need way up here. You need you can do just fine because the amount of money that you're gonna or time that you're gonna expend or spend is the results that you're going to get are not going to be a whole lot different. You'll actually have that authenticity to go, look, it's a small dive bar. You don't need to, you're performing for 150 people. You don't need this gigantic grandiose thing. But I also was looking at some other theaters out here when you're like, hey, if you get me the specs and the schematics and like what's available. And I looked at them, was like, wow, these theaters actually have this information. And I look at that and I thought right from you're like, I'll help you tune and do all the settings, and all we have to do is just adjust for the venue. And it was like, wow, this is amazing. It really kind of just drew me in a lot more.
It is. There is so little knowledge with entertainers, and if you look at the chair shows, just buy one set of lights, and instead of using the normal light in the room, get a few colors behind you. It's a world of difference. Then it looks like a show.
Oh yeah.
What are we selling? Illusion and emotion. But
yeah, I remember asking you about something, and I'll use Kevin Lapine's show in his setup. I was explaining, I was like, yeah, they got the rear projection thing up on the whatever, and I was like, man, that would be really awesome. And then you were like, oh, they got super high angle projectors that you just throw behind the chairs and put up on a screen, and you're like, you can go buy that on Amazon. And I'm like,
oh,
mind blown.
With everything turning now to LED projectors, if you look on Greg's list or what is it called here, you can buy
that Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that.
You can buy a projector for $150, a short throw projector. So
short throw projector.
Yeah, that's it. What it's called.
That's one that shoots up the high angle. Yeah. Okay. No, that's my fault. I goofed that up.
Don't worry about it. It is so easy to stand out, and the ones that do, they will have way more coming to them in show requests. That's what I think, because we all want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
We do, and that entertainment market, I've seen it over the last couple of years, is really starting to recover now. People are comfortable now. They're going out. They're spending money. They're wanting to be entertained. But you mentioned, that if we all did just a little bit better, we'd all benefit from it. So the question from TikTok and HypnoPixie, who I believe you might have met at the Canada Hypnosis Conference, says, "Hi Jeff, what is the best advice you ever received in your career?"
Oh, good question.
The best advice is be true to yourself and don't try to imitate or copy somebody else.
Okay, and I'm going to flip that around and say, what is the best advice that you would give somebody who's just starting out?
That is a really good question. Be yourself, but be open to feedback from others. If you're a stage hypnotist, invest in one thing: a decent microphone. Your voice is your currency. If people can't hear you, if sound is breaking up because the sound firm or the school or the venue has a broken microphone, you're to blame, not them, because it's your job as an entertainer to be able to do your show. And with hypnosis, 90% what we do is driven by our voice. So if you want to buy something, buy a good microphone, then a good sound system. And it doesn't have to be expensive, because if you're playing for 100 people, you don't need a big sound system. And if you're making money, invest in some lights. So if you did 5 shows, you would have your money back if you're starting out at a low budget.
Do you have any recommendations on, here's good value for money to start out, then here's your next kind of intermediate, and then, all right, when you're ready to go full beans, step up to something larger? Or as far as microphones, whether it's headsets or handheld?
Wireless microphones.
Oh, I'm sorry, you froze for a second. What was that?
So with microphones, Shure microphones, wireless or Sennheiser are great. Sound systems, I really love the Bose S1 Pro. It's a speaker. I do high school with one speaker behind me, and it's enough for up to 250 people. And it works on a battery, so I don't have to carry any cords. And I can fly with it, so that's what I prefer. You can buy them for around $500-600. You can buy alto speakers for $200.
I think Joe Beth was telling me about that Bose system. I think you were the one who recommended it to him.
Yeah, most people bought them. It is so easy. And just if you want to buy a microphone, go to Guitar Center or whatever, and try them out.
Mm-hmm.
Your currency is your voice. If people can't hear you, or you have a high-pitched voice, maybe a Shure is not your microphone,
Mm-hmm.
or a Sennheiser.
Yeah,
Try it out.
Yeah. I typically my voice gets picked up more in the mid range than it does in what I would say where regular voices get picked up. And so oftentimes when they're trying to adjust sound for me, it never quite sounds just like me.
Because a lot of people don't know what they're doing. And that is, if you do conferences and people are doing sound, they all like to boost the low levels, but there's no information. Our voice doesn't go as low. We're not Leonard Cohen. So it is knowing what you do. And nowadays with your phone, it's easy. You can install an app. You can talk to your phone and see what frequencies are moving. Everything that is not moving, you don't have to enforce sound-wise. So that only causes feedback. Feedback is the ring.
I'm gonna grab that app from you later, because that'll be something that I look at, because even today when I was working with the students at the school, in the last presentation I did was in the auditorium, and they had a microphone that was just, it was up, it was down, depending on where I was standing. I was pretty sure I was maybe underneath the speaker, and there was feedback. And so you're trying to adjust this microphone, whereas if I had brought my own, I probably would have sounded a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And the Bose system,
I say that you got to buy your own microphone.
Yeah. And the Bose system I've seen I've seen it work. A friend of mine is a magician. We've actually performed together in a couple venues. But he was here doing the annual summer fair, and 2 shows daily, and he had his 2 Bose speakers set up. Everything was Bluetooth, wireless, this, that, and the other thing. Everything worked absolutely perfectly. And Neri was there. Anybody who could not hear what was going on in his show, it was absolutely amazing, quick and easy setup. He said, what he used to do used to take him 2 hours to set up his sound. Now it takes him 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that you spoke about Michael DeShalit earlier, and I remember he and Salish were doing some grad night shows out in the Seattle area, and it was okay. We're gonna put the stand up, telescope it, set the thing up there, test. All right, cool, we're ready. the setup is done.
If you do it quickly, the setup is 10 minutes.
Yeah, it took us longer to walk into the venues and go, okay, where do you guys want us to set up, and where to put chairs, and check in, and then.
And the most important thing is what you buy doesn't have to be expensive. It's got to be useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had my own sound company. I lost so much money on equipment because I wanted to have it and use it. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have the big stuff because you got to carry it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a bar, great. But if you're up on the attic somewhere, you got to lift it. So make it easy on yourself.
Okay, well,
and most venues are not real friendly for your body carrying stuff.
Well, we had a saying in the military that, when you were packing gear, and, whether you were packing for a trip, operational stuff that you had to carry, it was ounces equals pounds, and pounds add up to pain. And, it's the same thing. You're limited to what you can travel with on the airlines before you start getting into, God, is it almost cheaper for me to just buy it on the other end?
I rented equipment here in the US for a long time before I started investing in a Bose, and it's the best thing I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I have my own equipment. I'm not coming into school with a brand new sound system. Yes, that really happened. Do I need to run my own equipment? No, everything is newly installed, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I drove to the school, and Dot was with me, and there was new equipment. But the new microphones were in a vault. They gave him the old microphones with a different frequency. So I ended up, luckily I have the knowledge, tear everything down and connect my microphone to the system.
We've got new stuff, but nobody knows how to use it, or nobody can access the stuff to make it work.
Yeah. And that happens.
More frequently than we know. Yep. Okay, so we posted in the chat, friend or frenemy is coming up. So place your guess in the chat. Let us know. Is Jeff a friend or a frenemy? We'll be asking that question in just a few minutes. I see Tommy is on TikTok now. There he is. So he's back with us. He was in the other chat a little while ago.
Tommy was on Facebook.
Yep, Tommy is saying that he believes frenemy. Becca says friend.
Oh God!
A minute.
I'm torn on this because I'm like, do I fully trust the metric system? But then at the same time, he has also put his faith in the U.S. standard system as well. So I'm trying to.
Tommy posted in the TikTok chat. He says, "I'm everywhere. I'm sitting behind you all right now." So it's like you're the American Express card. Everywhere we want to be and more.
Tommy also says you smell different when he hugs you when you're sleeping. But oh no! I goofed it up. It's when somebody gives you a hug, you tell them you smell different when you're sleeping, and pretend like you don't look like it's something normal. But no,
it's all good. Do we just ask the question because
I'm gonna go with friend on this. I'll throw that out there.
Okay. Do we ask the question then? Because it seems to be.
Yeah, go. You send it, Shawn.
All right, here it is. So yes or no. Everybody's nice about, if it's there, I'll eat it. That's fine.
And I think you need to clarify that this is your personal preference. You are on the phone or standing in front of somebody placing your order.
If you are ordering pizza, does pineapple belong on your pizza? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, that.
If you eat a Hawaiian pizza, there needs to be pineapple on it.
Well, we will stipulate that pineapple would have to be on a Hawaiian pizza. Are you going to willfully volunteer and go, yes, I want the Hawaiian pizza?
That is how I grew up. We had a Hawaiian pizza and it had pineapple.
Oh, that's...
I know it's a shock.
You were never taught differently. So I don't know if that's nature versus nurture. I'm sure that's probably a whole separate discussion and conversation. But it's all right, Jeff. We still like you.
The chat is going wild. So Tommy's here on TikTok. He says, "Bam! I knew I liked him." And Becca is
no. Sorry, Becca.
One off the cliff.
Oh, look, you even got the Greta Thunberg response. How dare you?
It's such a fun question to kind of end off. We covered a lot of ground tonight. I think the one thing because I think you and I met at Hypnothoughts, right? You were there that one Hypnothoughts that I was at, and you were on one of the stage panels, I believe. It was a while ago. Jim and I would have been.
Hold on, Shawn. I see the video moving, but I don't know if his lips are moving. I'm not hearing audio, or I'm not sure if it's a delay or something.
Can you hear me now?
No, I was talking about Jeff. I didn't. Oh. It was like it looked like he was starting to say something.
No, go on, Shawn. I wasn't saying anything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's okay. That's all right. And I think the one thing that we all kind of found out about you at Hypnothoughts was that you have some very deep skills, and not that I want to be like taken, but they're skills that you've acquired over a fairly lengthy career, and you're willing to sit down with people and share them and help make the profession better. And the more that we have people like you that are willing to help kind of raise the Titanic, so to speak, the better, because without people wanting to help somebody improve, help somebody maybe think about something different. You talk about scripting a show, a theatrical show. It's a very different type of scripting than, say somebody sitting down doing a chair show. I'm going to do these 12 skits and that's my show. You've got storyline that you need to weave together, and all of those pieces serve to put you at that higher level that you talked about, and you're willing to say, hey, come up here with me so that you can see what this is like, so that you can experience it. And not only that, you know, work with me for a day. Like, you know, you mentioned that when Brian and or I make our way out that way, come and see exactly what I do and why I do it. That's the important part right there.
Oh, I totally. You money goes in my bank account. I'm going, all right, passport. What do I need to do to get in the country? Am I able to fly under the radar?
Brian may not even bring a change of clothes. He'll be on your doorstep.
I have some merchandise, so I got a shirt for it. No worries.
So you're gonna have the I'm Jeff Benink shirt, and you're gonna have the shirt for Brian that says I'm with Jeff Benink.
I'm just gonna layer clothes, just multiple t-shirts, couple pairs of pants, and then it'll be like, all right, I'm gonna get there. I'll take it all off, hang it up in the closet, and
don't make the mistake I did, just thinking that it would be nice weather here, and then ending up in Canada where it was freezing.
Yeah, you're like, it's going to be warm inside. All I have to do is go from the parking lot to inside, and then you go, wow, that parking lot's really cold on the way to inside.
Yeah, so I'll be typically Canadian and say sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, right now, if I look, well, I can't really look outside because it's dark. It's getting dark now at like 6 o'clock in the evening for me. But you know, when I wake up in the morning now, there is a pretty significant layer of frost on my vehicle. So it usually takes 10 minutes to warm my vehicle up before I head anywhere. Winter is coming, so
I noticed.
And we're not talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
we're talking about the real winter.
Wait, what was that, Jeff?
So we had some strange faces when we got out of the car in Canada in our shorts and t-shirts.
Well, we get that as Canadians when we go south during the winter, and you know it's 5 or 10 degrees outside, and you know we're wearing shorts. It's like, yeah, you're from Canada, aren't you? So
they forget that you got.
I forgot to say something about this because we've had many discussions about Canadian weather versus American weather, and I think Scott finally said, "You know what? Stop arguing with Shawn about the weather because he'll beat you every time." So,
well, I mean, when people look at you funny getting out and wearing shorts and stuff, they forget that you guys upgrade your cars up there with heated steering wheels, heated seats.
Oh yeah,
backrests and everything else, and you're like, it's practically a sauna in there.
I actually had to turn my heated seat off because it was getting a little too warm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it wasn't cold enough, Shawn.
Yeah,
no, but it will get there. There's no question. I've already warned Grant because Grant is coming over next month into Saskatchewan, and I said, bring your warmest stuff, and then we'll backfill if you need a toque or something like that to cover your head.
Yeah. Well, Grant will just layer up with a couple of hoodies and call it good.
Well, you know, when I was at Hypnotize, one of the things that I did do, I attended Jim's street hypnosis session.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I got the certified hypnotic badass certificate over there on my wall. But one of the things that we gave Jim, there was a couple of us, was this really big, and we've seen it on the podcast before, this really big red and white Canada toque that I'm sure
a beanie hat with a big puffy ball on the top.
It's a toque. Anyway, I'm sure may hit it for a while on Jim, but he went up to Vancouver, and it just happened to be a little bit colder in Vancouver than it normally is. And he was complaining about it. And I said, well, I gave you a toque, Jim. Like, what's going on? Put it on your head. And, and I've had other people come in from Africa, and they're walking around in this really thin layer of leather jacket that they normally wear. freezing,
Yeah.
and no tooth, no mitts, no nothing, and it's like, okay.
But it looks cool.
Well, of course they look cool.
Yeah. They're frozen.
When it hits -40, it's -40. It doesn't matter if you're in freedom units or Celsius. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it hits -40 here on a regular basis during the winter. So,
Yeah,
it's cold.
So, Jeff, out of some of the, what are some of the more user-friendly audio programs that or apps that you recommend?
I'm a big fan of the program called Go Button. It's easy. You can use it for free for one show. So you can put the music for one show in it, completely edited with fade times, with loops, with everything. And you can use it for free. And if you want to have more shows on your phone, you upgrade it, and it's only $100. And it's built by the people that make big theatrical software that's called QLab. That can run audio, video, and now even
the lighting,
multi-object audio for theaters.
Oh, okay. So with Go Button, is that you set up a single show? Like, hey, here's like my single setup that you can use for as many shows as you want, or it's you set it up once, you use it up, and you use it, and then they go, all right, now you pay for it.
No, for one show it is free, so you can set up your one show and use it as many times as you want. If you want to have more, then you got to upgrade.
Okay, so it's like one file that goes inside there where everything's all set up.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and then is that just you program it inside the app, like you upload your audio files and everything like that?
You upload everything inside the app, and then you start tweaking it.
Yeah. Is there a desktop version, or is it tablet only?
It's an iPhone app.
Oh, okay. So it's either iPhone or like an iPad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I appreciate about that is when you do actually get your level set properly, it's gonna, it's gonna play exactly the way that you want it to. And I missed that in one of my shows. I added a sound kind of on the fly, and I forgot to go back and double check the sound, and it was way too low. Yeah, way too low. So on the checklist that you have, double check your sound, make sure the levels are set. All of those pieces. But it is a really great piece of software. Like it for what kind of functionality you get out of that app, it is really, really good.
Mm-hmm. And it's really thought through. And in the back of the app are so many things that, if you go deeper in designing a show, are so useful. So it's come to PHS. I'm going to talk about it, and we're going to build a show together.
Now, with Go Button, if you started something, how easy is it is there a capability to migrate that over into Q Labs where you can start doing more advanced stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
It communicates with each other, and that's the nice thing. I build my shows in QLab because I start big and then dial it down.
Right.
And I have the same show running on every device.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow. And then are there adapters that... So I'm kind of trying to visualize how, almost like a diagram or a schematic, if you will. So you've got Q Labs. So you have your tablet, your MacBook, your iPhone, whatever it is. Does that plug into the main sound system, or does that have to go into a mixer? How does
connect
everything...
it to a mixer, or if you use both speaker, you can connect it to a speaker with a built-in mixer function like the Bose, or if you run it from your phone, you can use Bluetooth.
Okay, so you have to plug it into kind of the master brain box that everything else runs off of.
Yeah.
Okay. God, that's definitely some advanced stuff that I've got to respect I guess the knowledge to go and set everything up and make it sound right.
Then we got to work on it so that you get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. So I guess, how would you prepare for something if you were going into a venue that doesn't have all of the schematics, the measurements and everything? You just have to go in and try to measure best you can, or?
Then I go in and have a look,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's possible, or
Right.
I gotta do it on the fly.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you gotta work with what you got. So low
Do you
ceiling.
ever do stuff with video where you're like, look, I'm in the Netherlands and someone's on another location, in another country or another city, where you're like, we're trying to do the best we can with, going, oh, we see vaulted ceilings with wood beams. There's not a lot of sound deadening material or anything, sound absorption panels or anything like that. You just kind of get it as close as you can.
Yeah, then I work with the entertainers or the engineers that are on spot,
Mm-hmm.
and we do a Zoom call, and I let them run some measurement software,
Oh,
so
okay.
I can see the measurements,
Right.
and I can tweak it for them, or they can tweak it on the fly.
Like, is there any sound instrumentation that you would need where it's like, hey, we play a sound that's at a known value, and then, all right, what do we hear from the microphone on the other end?
Yeah, there's something called pink noise that has all the frequencies
Mm-hmm.
in it, and if you play it, measurement software can take a picture of what is reverberating, what is leaking, what is too much, so you can
Mm-hmm.
EQ to it. But going back to Sean's new sound that he put in, I would
Mm-hmm.
recommend, if you make a show, make the first sound file that is on your show that you're never using in a show. So it could be your last, but you need to use it first. Make a sound that is 0 decibels of pink noise, so you can gain in your speaker, your mixer, to that file that is absolute loudest sound there is. So you will never distort during your show, and the sounds will never be too low. So you have,
Interesting. Okay.
if you set it up, you can never go wrong.
And then, I know Sean was telling me that he did sound check on one of his shows, and it was like, okay,
we did the sound check. Everything checked out. It was wonderful. I had the iPad all set up, was ready to go. But
and then you get up on stage and nothing is there.
Yeah, what happened was the little connector from the iPad to the sound system, it separated. And so it was actually a hardware problem that
Oh, so it was a physical separation.
Yeah,
like something got partially unplugged.
Yeah, you know how you can get those the connectors? They're not real sturdy going from an iPad to your 3.5 millimeter. So I think what I was doing was I popped it out. I plugged in the power so that I could charge the iPad because I had a couple of hours. Went to plug everything back in. It all looks good. Yep, no sound. But that little cord probably snapped.
Always check before you go on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like your power cords or your charging cords when you right where it comes out of the connector, the cord flexes back and forth, and it's like the paper clip. You go, okay, well, now it's broken on the inside, but we don't know it. It just is, when you move the cord a certain way, it makes the connection and it works.
I couldn't even do that.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever, either it was because it was brand new. So, it worked once. Okay, that's great. Let's, power things up, and then we plug it back in. It's not working. It's like, okay. So either it was defective, or the way that I unplugged it just just enough to stretch a wire and disconnect it. So
I always have two devices with the show. So I always have a MacBook, an iPad, and a phone.
Mm-hmm.
That all run the same show. I can do without video. I can do without lights, but I can't do without my music.
Yeah.
So I always have a double, and I have a USB, and somewhere in the cloud are my shows stored. So there's always a way to get the software working.
So when you've got the sound, so you've got your microphone, you've got your decent speakers and whatnot. Would you say that the next step is to get some type of like a background and some lighting to kind of help set the mood a little bit when you go from skit to skit?
Yeah, I think so. And if you have a couple of lights that can change color, if you're talking about cold, you make it blue, like the background is now. If it's hot, you make it more red or yellow.
Right.
So you put emotion in your skit, and the visual emotion is received way more than we think.
Yeah.
If you are watching a movie, if there's a creep in an alley, it's never bright daylight.
Yeah, you're probably more into like the bluish purple. It is dimly lit.
That's for a reason, and we can copy it from movies to our shows. We are selling emotions,
Right.
and our volunteers see everything in their head. But we got another audience, the people in the audience. They don't see in their head the suggestion that we gave. They see how it's acted out. But to make it more impressive, if we have the background or the color with it, it ups our game.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be expensive.
Right. Because my goal in a show would be to really draw the audience in and not so much hyper focus them, but get them to a point where they have tuned all the external stuff out. They're not thinking about the bills, kids at home, is the babysitter, kept the house from burning down, that type of stuff. And really draw that wow factor, that emotion out to where you really give them value for money for their attendance or paid admission.
So you got to give them the emotion so they can sink into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the beauty of live theater versus going to a movie theater. Movie theater, you're still watching what essentially is a two-dimensional image. But when you're there and you're in the moment, and then you start adding the sound, and you start adding the lighting, and you start seeing live story being acted out, it's a whole different experience.
Even in my new show, I even use smells. I use a smell generator to enforce certain scenes. And that was a whole new ballpark because people are believing it way more that it's real what they're looking at. The problem is more people are going under in the audience.
Yeah. And do you pull people from the audience that didn't originally volunteer? They all of a sudden you're like, hey, they went night and swap them out with somebody that you had to send back?
It depends on the show, but in a theatrical show, I don't. I don't have the room to do it, and it breaks up the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I choose not to, but I'll make sure that people. I set it up in a way that people aren't going out in the audience, but there's always one or two that.
Mm-hmm. And oftentimes they're the ones that protest the most. Oh, I can never be hypnotized.
But I got somebody in the audience taking care of them, so
yeah,
it's not that they are in La La Land the whole show and didn't see the show. We get them out.
Mm-hmm. So now a theater show, kind of take us through that. You know, I pay my money, they punch my ticket, I take my seat. The show begins. Do you have your volunteers kind of pre-volunteered or doing anything work with them before the show, or?
No, no. I start out like every show. I have walk-in music that are known songs but played in a different way. So that sets the scene a little.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time, I'm standing at the entrance, thanking them for coming in.
As they're being seated.
As they're being seated
Okay.
by the main entrance or by one of the doors, so I can see which kind of people are coming in, and you can see what is happening while they're sitting down. You can make kind of a selection in your mind. That will be a good one. That will be a good one. Sometimes I do the book and balloon test or the magic fingers just to play with them before.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get my volunteers that way, I ask them to come up. Then the music starts playing. I do the hypnotizing bit.
Mm-hmm.
And after the hypnotized, then the show starts.
Right.
So then we have what I call the voice of God, the sound from the ceiling. That is the voice telling what you can and can't do in the theater. That there are certain rules, no photography, no video, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts telling the story from how we ended up where we are right now. And then the lights change, curtain goes up or whatever, smoke comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fairy tale starts, just like going to a play.
Mm-hmm.
Watching. Only these people are hypnotized and they are actors in the play.
Right. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Where because every show that I've seen or had the ability to help out with, you watch like the first couple of times, it's like and sleep and sleep and sleep, and then you hear the little snickers and like, oh my god, just real raw reactions from the audience. That's what's fun for me.
And now you have the same thing, only it's way slower because it's a story. It's not hot, cold, do this, do that.
Right.
It builds.
Yeah.
And of course, there are some rapids in there. The wow factor is there for hypnosis.
Right.
But I'm standing on the other side of the stage telling something, and somebody stands up and exit out. And then the other person comes in. So it's a play between them. And I'm just the director of the play, just like every hypnosis show.
Right.
Only I made it more theatrical because it's a story.
So it sounds like there's with the feeling and emotion in there's definitely dramatic effect.
There is.
And you want people to think and really feel and whatnot. But then how does is there a comedy component that plays in as well?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. There are bits that are comical, but I don't use all the standard things that are in the show, the hot and cold, the smelly bit.
Right.
It is more woven into a longer story, and things happen, and a lot of things that you don't expect happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's set up in that way. Because we're not only selling emotions, but you gotta sometimes push people over the boundary to get shocked.
Mm-hmm. So now I know I don't want to say we're coming up on time, but wanting to kind of tie this up shortly, but one of the last things that I wanted to ask is, without like revealing confidentiality or any identifying stuff, can you share with us like a memorable show where it was just something unexpected happened, it was absolutely hilarious, got a great reaction from the crowd, that type of thing?
Oh, every show something happens.
I
At the
don't know
high school.
if there's
at-
anything that stands out where you're like, whoa, I did not see that one coming.
oh, there are a lot of those moments, and choosing the
Mhm.
right one is always difficult. Um, Sometimes you give a suggestion, and
Mhm.
you know what it means because you did it for hundreds of shows, and you've seen other people do it, and somebody hears it wrong.
Oh, like they interpret it a different way.
Yeah, because in their slang or whatever, that word means something else. And
Oh,
as a
wow.
European performing in the US, uh, some words don't mean the same thing. And I don't know exactly what I said, but the girl was doing a whole other stuff than was planned. At a high school, so,
So a bit of a cultural difference.
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes when you're tired, and that's a good excuse, but coming from another country and you can't find the exact word, so you say it in half Dutch, that meant something completely different here. So that was getting in trouble.
Well, I
But
mean,
doing a show,
Grant has to be careful when he comes to the United States, because over there it's I'm going out and having a cigarette, and here in the United States it's a hate crime.
Mhm. So the cultural differences are big, and I noticed while I was doing the with Jim Want the Buke State Fair, the Buke Fair. A lot of people from the Netherlands immigrated here in the 50s and 60s.
Hmm.
And because I was not getting my words right, Jim told me, just do it in Dutch. So I walked on stage, did a complete pre-talk in Dutch. And I only had farmers sitting across me. Don't know what he's talking about. Don't know. And it was the best show ever at that point.
Hmm.
They had no idea what I said, but they stayed seated and I got a full stage of people. So it's, and that is what I think, it's more about intention than exactly the words you say.
So Dubuque, what state was that in?
Iowa.
Okay.
If you have the right intention in your show, people will go with it.
Hmm.
And don't be the show off doing stage hypnosis. You're the director. The
Hmm.
people are the stars of the show.
Right.
That right there is a big aha moment, and it should be for a lot of people, because you're absolutely right. You might be the hypnotist, you're the big name on the billboard, or whatever, but it's your volunteers that are the ones that should be shining.
Yeah.
And,
And
and
you know
I'll
what?
yep, and I'll tell people right off the bat, like I know I'm funny, and I know I'm funny looking, but I am not going to be the funniest person on the stage tonight.
My goal is to make you guys be the funniest people on the stage.
So
That is how it should be. And it is funny. We got free actors that do everything we want to, and we are the ones getting paid for it.
I was going to
And
say they're better than free actors. They're people who paid to be on your stage.
but that is why if somebody's starting out and doesn't get that it's a weird way of working, the value your volunteers has is all the money you are ever making with your show is because of people volunteering to work with you. So you got to respect them.
Mm-hmm. No,
And don't let
that's
them do something that you wouldn't let your mother do.
Yeah.
You can be funny in a decent way. You can be funny on an edgy way. But keep respecting your volunteers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Because
is
if you
kind of
don't
crazy.
do it, they will never book a hypnosis show again. And we've seen it happen in the last few years with a lot of people trying to do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Insurance go up. There are less stages to play while they are getting more and more hypnotists. So we got to be careful. It's a job. It's not something you do on a Saturday night.
Right.
Because you love it. We're working with people's brains.
Mm-hmm.
And we can hurt them.
Yeah.
We're not telling it to them, but we can hurt them. So we got to be respectful and think things through. What does this suggestion mean? And take away the suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like how you say, make sure it's something that, all of your skits is something that you would have, your mom do or have your mom watch. Because if it was, hey, make it so something that your family member would do. There are things that I would do to my younger brother just because of the crap that he got away with when he was younger, when we were both little, just surely on principle. But, I say that in good humor because, I love my brother and hold him in a very, very high respect. And I would never want to do anything that would, violate trust or something like that. So that's, I like how you said, you need to respect your volunteers and your audience.
And do a risk assessment. If you really love your show, write it down. What can go wrong with each kid? Because you will be better. Because you rethink your skits, you will change them, and you will stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the one thing that I'm really passionate about is that the whole hypnosis world should be up here, not where we are now.
Yeah, I definitely would. And, working with Joe Beth and talking with other folks are like, all right, Brian, when's your show? And I'm like, yeah, I definitely, there have been some things medically and, a car accident lawsuit that I'm still working through to get solved. While I'm dealing with all of that stuff, I'm really kind of racking my brain going, what can I do to build a good show? Because I want my first show to be out there, just crush it, really show that I put a lot of time and effort into it.
And you can always start with the bits that everybody's doing, but bring them in your way.
Exactly.
Weave together. And if you're comfortable, then start writing new material.
Mm-hmm.
And what I use in my shows are pieces from fairy tales, but a lot of things that happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
While I was working in the theater, we had a local band. I'm not telling where I worked or who the band was, but there was a handicapped girl in the band. And she had the triangle, but she was always one beat late. So one played, and then she came in. If I do anything with music in my shows, that is one of the things that comes back because it was so freaking funny.
Right.
And if you are developing material, use your phone, a piece of paper that you always carry with you. If something is funny, type it in your phone. Forget about it. And after months, look, could it be a bit? How can I create a bit out of it,
No,
then you're
that's
building something new.
mhm. No, that makes a lot of sense. I've talked to, I think I was talking to Salish, and I'm like, man, the different people that I've seen, I want to take a little bit of something from their show that I really enjoyed, make it my own, and kind of have it be like my all-star compilation where it's still my show, but I'm still kind of paying homage to all of the other uh, entertainers. That it's like, imitation is the highest form of flattery. I don't want to steal their stuff. I'd
But
like
you
to.
could ask an entertainer from, hey, is it okay
Mhm.
if I use this bit from you?
But
That
yeah.
is different than stealing it. I
Mhm.
work with a lot of entertainers worldwide as a
Yeah.
consultant, and some entertainers are doing skits that I built, and that
Yeah.
I'm happy that they are performing it because I had my fun
Hmm.
with it, and it could jumpstart their career, or they rebuild it so it works now in a way that it never worked for me.
Right.
But ask permission. Some
Yeah.
entertainers sell their bit. That's an
Hmm.
option. But don't be a bad copy.
Yeah. I remember talking with Salish, and he says, "Yeah, man, go look at some of my old stuff. Do whatever you do. Go knock your socks off. Just do a good job with it. Don't suck at it." And it's that type of stuff where, he's like, "Yeah, a lot of my stuff on YouTube," he goes, "I'm not doing anymore." So I'm like, "All right, that's fair." And but he's just like, "Go out and however I can help. Let's go for it."
But you got to
And
start somewhere. And
mhm.
what the most important part is, everybody wants to do skits.
Yeah.
But do you want to excel?
Yeah, and I think part of it's, telling a story or setting it up, and I definitely
Start
want to just.
writing your pre-talk in
Yeah,
the most funniest way. Build it out as long as you can, and then take a marker
and just start
and
chopping it.
start chopping it until you
Hmm.
have a pre-talk that is you, that has your humor, and is the way you want to do a show, because that is your money, your pre-talk.
Hmm. No, that makes sense.
The rest is fun, but your pre-talk is the most important part of your show.
No, that's some really sound advice, and we have been at it for a little over a couple hours now. I know that it is definitely getting late on both of your guys' ends. Sean, what's up next?
Well, coming up next, I got to hang on. I got to use my announcer voice. Coming up next,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
uh, no, we are, I think, ready to roll into the hypnosis portion of our podcast. As always, we put out this wonderful disclaimer um, because we know what hypnosis can do. We know
Hmm.
some people get to be like wet noodles when they're hypnotized, but hypnosis relies on focus. If you need to focus on your current circumstances, you are driving, you are cooking, chopping vegetables, whatever it is, and you need to focus on that, you can turn us off now. You can
Yeah.
always come back to us. It will be on YouTube and Facebook. Well, Facebook for at least the next 4 weeks because they have a time limit now on how much they put things through. But if not, you get to enjoy the next few minutes with Jeff leading us in some hypnosis.
And
So
and
we're
and,
gonna.
and Becca's going to have some anxiety and confidence building and everything, because there's some travel that she wants to do coming up. So she just needs to take that final step.
Scott says he's driving, so he's going to duck out. Absolutely, Scott. We will connect with you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks, Scott.
thanks for
Safe
being
travel,
with us.
Scott. Get home safe.
Yeah, I still have a few people in TikTok land as well. So just reminder to you out there that if you are participating Make sure you're in a safe spot, and we will turn it over to Jeff.
And once again, if you're listening while driving, while working, or doing something else that needs your attention, then please leave this podcast for now and find a replay. Talking about hypnosis, we were talking all night long about doing stage, working with clients, and that's one thing we all need, that is a little bit of relaxation. And hypnosis doesn't have to be hard. You can be hypnotized by just counting back like we're doing now. Starting at 15, taking a deep breath in, and slowly exhaling. We're going down to 14. And you're going to hear me say the word deeper a lot of times, and we use deeper because the letters in deeper hit something in our mind that makes our mind relax. So we're going deeper down to 30. And deeper down to 12. And deeper down to 11. And if you're up for it, just allow your mind to double that relaxation as we hit 10. And deeper down to 9. Slowly deeper and deeper down to 8. Deeper down to 7. Just allow your mind to wander. Because the deeper you go, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the deeper you go. Deeper down to 6. So much deeper at 6. And deeper down at 5. Deeper down at 4. And deeper down to 3. Just another deep breath in as we go deeper down to 2. And deeper down to 1. Take another deep breath in, and we exhale. Go down all the way to 0. Where 0 for you may be. With every breath you take, you let yourself go deeper and deeper. And I just want you to concentrate on something you want to change in your life. Maybe it's fear of travel, maybe it's more focus on work or your family around you. Just imagine that you already achieved your goal. Just imagine that you look out in 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, and that you finalize your goals. That you lost the weight you want to lose, that you quit smoking, that you finally made the travel and finally made happen. Maybe got married, maybe got the new position you always wanted in your company. And then take another deep breath. And just focus on how it is to have achieved everything that you really wanted. How does it feel? How does it smell? How's the environment? If you're finally traveling, how is the heat from the sun or the cold in Canada? And when you experience all those things, when you got a new position in the company, that you're making more money, or finally got over those health issues, how does it feel? Could you taste or smell it? And then in a moment, not now, but in a moment, I want you to look back from the place you are now, where you achieved everything you wanted. And look back on all the things you changed to achieve it. What did you do to come over the fear of flying? How did you get the position you wanted in your company? How did you change the things you wanted to change, like quit smoking, weight loss? Just take a very deep breath in and hold it for a couple of seconds. And when you exhale that breath, Walk down the path back to this moment where we're at right now. And take in all those learnings, all the things you did, all the things that you changed. What made you lose weight, quit smoking, or be finally able to travel? Because you know, all the answers you got inside. Everything is locked down in you. And with relaxing more and more, there's a way to find the answers, to make those changes, just like you did in your mind. Just take another deep breath in. And when you slowly exhale, just walk down the path back to this moment. And let all the lessons that you learned become effective today, tomorrow, maybe in the upcoming days, so you can finally achieve your goals, the goal that you set today. And you know, it's not hard. You can do this self every day. When you go to sleep, just repeat it. It's not rocket science, but if you can relax, you can learn. And you can learn to relax and set a goal and go to the goal in your mind as if it is achieved. Then walk back and find all those learnings, how you did achieve it, what do you need to change. And if you did it, you can slowly come back. And as I count to 5, may open your eyes, stretch out, and be completely awake again. Or if you go to bed, you can. You don't have to wake up all the way, just enough to hit your bed. Take a deep breath in. 1, waking up slowly, starting to move. 2, a little bit more energy. Take a deep breath in at 3, more energy in the body, and blow out the relaxation. We go to 4, and eyes open at 5.
All right, welcome back. Let us know how that was for you in the chat, because a lot of what Jeff just went through with you, that's how a lot of my sessions go. And I even will have them fly over top of that path, just so they can get a bird's eye view and realize those obstacles really aren't that big. Which is, it's a very, anybody who's ever been through a session like that, they say that is the weirdest experience. Being able to go right up to my vision, see it as achieved, and everything is great, and then I fly back and I see all these things that I thought were these massive mountains in the way or whatever, and they're just
that's got to be some like Matrix type stuff where you're like, here's where you're going. And add some Robin Williams in there, and he's like, and we're gonna rewind that. But
yeah, I haven't added Robin Williams in, because that's a whole different level of humor that you have to know somebody's ready for. But that type of experience that you just had, where you learn something about what it's like to feel like you've accomplished everything that you want to accomplish, and then coming back to now with the realization, maybe it's not that hard. Maybe it's easier than you think it is. You know, that in and of itself is worth this whole entire 2 hours. Now, that's not saying that the other 2 hours that we talked here isn't valuable, because I will say this of Jeff, and I've said it before already. If you need assistance with your shows, if you want to learn more about how sound, light, you mentioned that you now have some smells that are going in. if you want to learn how to take your show from where it is right now to that next level, to that theatrical level, tell a story, Jeff is your guy. And so you are coming to PHS, right? In January?
I am coming to PHS.
So we get a chance. We get a chance now. I say we because I know Brian is going to be there for sure as well.
Yes.
But we have the opportunity to sit with Jeff, learn from Jeff, and talk with Jeff in person. If you are if you're even remotely thinking about stage and things that you want to do and getting out to perform or even present on hypnosis, PHS is the place you want to be in January because you get to meet guys like Jeff and going back to Hypnothoughts, which was, I want to say it was 2022, 2020, yeah. Going back to the first time I met Jeff, it's like, wow, this guy's got a lot of knowledge. But at Hypnothoughts, it's a big conference. Everybody's moving around. You don't really necessarily always get the chance to connect with somebody that you want to. Coming to PHS and meeting Jeff and being at a conference with Jeff and getting to understand, I didn't even think about that. And Jeff's been doing it for 15 years.
And Jeff, my friend Anthony, he's does haunted houses and choreographs like pyrotechnics and does sound and special effects and things like that. I told him about you and he was like, oh man, that's I wish I could be down there for PHS. He's already committed to being in Baltimore, I think the same day or the same afternoon that we fly in, but I think we're going to have his son and his business partner come down. But the two of you guys could probably just talk for hours. But he asked me about a scented product or what triggers it or something like that. I just popped him a message. I'll have to shoot you a message about that to see if you're familiar with it or not.
I'm open to talking to everybody that wants to up their game. You guys know I'm easy to reach, so
absolutely.
Everybody watching, if they want to know more, they can reach out.
Yeah, and then Shawn, did we put websites up for Jeff? Okay, good.
All of that is in the chat. Becca says that was lovely. Thank you. Feeling nice and calm and sleepy, which for her is a good thing because it is like 2 a.m. where she is right now. Dan joining us here on YouTube. My hypnotherapist used cloud imagery and would nest me within the cloud. Interesting as I move through my successes. Kind of like
it's like a magic carpet ride, only different.
Well, I'm thinking more like a shield, protecting maybe from potential danger, allowing you to be carried along. That's the vibe I'm getting. But Dan,
the military side of me is like, okay, it's a cloud. It's concealment. They can't shoot at what they can't see.
Yeah, tell it to the Klingons with their cloaking devices.
And the captain is back.
The captain is back. On TikTok, Javo says that was awesome. Thank you. Tabitha, also a certified hypnotherapist, says that was so relaxing. So mission accomplished with the hypnosis. And I think it's just about that time, Brian.
Yeah, we're Jeff. We're definitely gonna have you back for like a part 2, and maybe something that kind of takes us through some of the like the equipment and everything. If we either do whether we pre-record it or do something that fits with your time schedule, because I can stay up late.
Yeah, we could pre-record. We could pre-record something at PHS. If there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
PHS.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great idea. And
There we go.
Becca asked, was that Sammy in the background that was barking? It was like, yeah, he was letting me know that it was time to go outside.
Yeah.
So, or we were going to have a couple of Klingons that were going to be having to be dealt with.
And Dan says, yes, it very much was like a shield, a very fluffy shield. So
Nice.
interesting. Very interesting. Well,
So
if you haven't learned something tonight, whether it's sound, audio, something about Jeff, something about different practices within hypnosis, different pieces of imagery, you missed out.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go back and look at it again, watch it again. That would be the homework.
So how much time do you have back or left in the States before you fly home?
I fly back Monday.
Okay.
So
you'll get just a bit of time change, and then and then
I change time again. So
yeah. But no, Jeff, I had such a good time listening to your stories, chit chatting, asking the questions, and thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we wish you nothing but the smoothest and safest travels back home.
Thank you guys so much for having me. And if somebody has a question, just get in touch.
Yeah,
absolutely. All that information, like I said, is in the chat. You can join Brian and I in November because we're on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month. So our guest on November the 11th is Gila Zach, and it's going to be an absolutely awesome interview with I want to say if I'm mispronouncing it right now, I will take responsibility for it. It could be Gila, but absolutely one of the best kept secrets of hypnosis is what I would say. I've seen her present once, and it's very easy to get hooked on what she's presenting and how she presents it. So we will see her on November the 11th. Jeff, we will see you in January at the Performing Hypnosis Summit. If you are thinking about coming, you still have a little bit of time to get tickets and book your hotel room. You can find out more about that on Hypno News Thursday night with Grant and myself.
And make sure you come a day early, because I heard Michael the Shellot opens his Magic Kingdom.
I'm even altering my travel schedule so that I can be in the morning instead of the evening.
Me too.
That means I got to fly through Calgary and go through security on the Canadian side of the border. But once I do, then it's kind of clear sailing to get into Vegas. So I should be there by noon on the Thursday. So, but until we meet again, as always, take care, stay well, be awesome. Good night, everybody.
Stay free, everybody.